The Mega Man series was always a big name when it came to 2D action platforming games. Not only it was one of the first mainstream series on this genre, it also grew and evolved over time, spawning many spin-off series, the most popular being the X series, which had an increased focus on storytelling and more intricate gameplay. Many fans came to like it even more than the original games. Then later came the Zero and ZX series, both strongly based on the foundations of X, but without Capcom themselves working on them. Instead, they were made by Inti Creates, which actually was a company formed by people who had worked at Capcom before. Even so, the people at Inti still had strong ties with Inafune, the main guy when it came to anything Mega Man. Over time, they made a name for the great work on 2D action games, releasing a total of 8 works carrying the Mega Man name. But as the series stopped showing satisfying sales numbers, Capcom withdrew any plans for new games, and consequently we wouldn't see Inti make a game like these for a long time. Finally, 7 years after the last game of this kind, they released an original work that would be their own new take on the Mega Man formula. That game was Azure Striker Gunvolt. Azure Striker Gunvolt was Inti Creates' first original project since Speed Power Gunbike, which was the first game ever, released in 1998. Around the time of Gunvolt's release, it would soon be the 20th anniversary of the company, so the president, Takuya Aizu, wanted to make a game to celebrate it. He then asked director Yoshihisa Tsuda to create it. Tsuda said that their intention at Gunvolt was to revive the 2D action game genre. They made the game based on many ideas for action games they had built up through the years and even developed it in between other releases. One of the core ideas for the game was to make it easily accessible for players of any skill level, while still offering ways for advanced players to challenge themselves. They also wanted it to stray from just being another Mega Man game. According to Tsuda, the game's visuals drew inspiration from anime and manga from the 90s. And in the music department, they wanted to try out a new idea for this kind of game: vocalized songs. This idol with a beautiful voice is Lumen, the heroine of the game, or half of it I guess. The hero and our player character is Gunvolt. Azure Striker refers to his powers, the control over electricity. He may look like Zero with long blonde hair, and personality-wise he's quite similar too. He is short with words, but very determined in doing what he believes to be right. By his gear, however, he's more akin to any other Mega Man, rocking a full blue attire and fighting from a distance with his gun. But there's an extra twist to his play. Even though Gunvolt grows on the roots of the Mega Man series, he plays quite differently from your average blue shooter. For shooting is only half of Gunvolt's game. It goes hand in hand with his unique ability, the flash shoot. Shoot an enemy to tag them, then activate your flash shoot to zap them up, dealing way more damage than you would from just shooting at them repeatedly. You can also take out multiple enemies at the same time, by tagging all of them and striking all at once, which is something even encouraged through a score and ranking system. But we'll talk more about that later. As good game design goes, one ability can have multiple uses. GV's flash shield does just that, not only being your main damage source, but also a defensive option, as it blocks any projectiles headed towards you. Of course, it's not almighty, as it won't help you against any energy-based projectiles and touching enemies directly. The flash shield is also a mobility tool, as Gunvolt falls much slower while it's active. However, you can't just keep your flash shield on forever. It consumes a resource called EP, represented by a little bar on the GV. It recharges over time if you just keep your flash shield off, or you can quickly fill up all of it by double tapping the down key. So far we've got shooting, jumping and flashing. Gunvolt can also dash and wall kick, just like in other Mega Man games. Overall, movement is very responsive, and you're able to make quick moves with dashing and jumping. Nothing less than expected from a sibling of the Mega Man X series. In the end, if you're familiar with the games that inspired this one, you'll feel right at home for the most part. But I'll say this, Gunvolt's unique gimmicks change the game feel considerably. Now we know all about the hero. Let's get into the missions then, starting with the intro stage. It starts off very tame. Enemies here will shoot slow-moving and predictable projectiles, giving new players enough time to react and dodge. Very early on, the game makes sure the player learns how to use the flash shield with this elevator sequence, in which you gotta tag this device and zap to activate it. And right after they learn that, you're presented with slow and tanky enemies, giving you plenty of space to experiment with GV's ability. Later on, you also find enemies that shoot projectiles that can be blocked by the flash shield. The first stage of any game is always a very crucial point, and I think this game nails it right by introducing its key mechanics one at a time. After you're done with the first stage, you're free to play the 6 available stages in any order, in good old Mega Man style. After you clear 3 of them, you go through an intermission stage, which is also a thing in some other Mega Man games, making for a total of 7 main levels. These 7 levels vary in quality, but most of them are pretty good. Zonda and Merrick stages are on the lower end, being rather bland and unimpressive in their mechanics, and even having some that are straight up lame. Elise's stage has darkness and light as its main theme. You can turn on colored panels to not only light up sections, but also change which paths you can take depending on the color. You can also use these flashlight drones to reveal the path before you, although they will go away if you're not quick enough. The atmosphere here is the best of all stages. Viper stage plays a bit with the idea of destructible environment, and while it's a very simple take on it, it presents you new possibilities of traversing through the stage. Strato stage is quite an interesting one, because it's the only one that presents situations that will punish you if you use a flash shield at the wrong time. Using it in the wrong moments will destroy platforms and drop you into spikes, or lure enemies that would not attack you otherwise. By the way, I've been going through the stages in my own order of preference. So next up are my 2 favorite ones. My second favorite is Kahera's stage, which gets it right by giving Gunvolt's flash shield new ways to interact with the scenario. You're able to pull around platforms to help you traverse forward and protect yourself from hazards. You can also use the flash shield to float on these magnet-filled sections. Jota's stage is easily the most fun of them all, featuring propellers that will push you powerfully when touched. It's really the only mechanic unique to this level, but it's used in many diverse situations that make you consider what moves to take and how to use your abilities properly. It also just feels really good to be launched by those, especially in sequence, and even more when you throw in the middle of a bunch of enemies, putting your reflexes to the test. I guess this is the lightning fast feeling that makes Sonic games feel so good too. Once you clear all the main stages, all that's left are the final missions that lead to the game's climax. But actually they don't amount to much actual content. The first of the set is just a rehashed mini-boss, nothing to write home about. The second one is the only actual stage of the bunch, and it's not that great. Wind plays a role here, affecting your momentum, but this rarely brings in unique or fun situations. Next up is a boss rush with nothing else in between them, which is kind of a shame. There's a few twists to some of the bosses, but that's it. And the last stage has a small number of sections with enemies, and of course the final boss, which is pretty cool. Probably the only really good part of all these final stages, though I won't show it here for spoiler reasons. If it seems like I'm skimming through these final stages too quickly, it's because there's actually not much to talk about them. While in other Mega Man games you'd have full stages on the final arc, here it seems like they didn't put too much effort into them. Add that to the fact we have 2 less stages than usual in the main ones, and you can see this game seems to lack a bit on the quantity department when it comes to levels. I will say, however, that stages in general feel a bit longer than they usually are in other Mega Man games. Also, there's no life system, and stages have plenty of checkpoints. Add that to the fact this game is much easier than other Mega Man entries, and you have a game that is much more lenient to players, making it also quicker to beat. One key aspect that goes hand in hand with level design is enemy design. I think it leaves a bit to be desired. You don't have a lot of variety to them, so you see the same enemies repeating a lot. Only every now and then you see enemies that are unique to a stage. However, there is an effort in keeping things fresh by assembling enemies in different combinations and positionings. But there is one type of enemy that is very important to this kind of game. Yep, we're gonna talk about bosses. I like the boss fights in this game a lot. Each of them has unique movement styles and attack patterns. You rarely feel the moves are cheap too. In general, they're not too hard to beat, but they're no pushovers either. The coolest thing about them is how each comes with their own ultimate attack, which is triggered once they reach the last third of their health. They also will every now and then require you to use your flash shield well, be it to block off certain attacks or to have an easier time dodging. I can confidently say the boss fights are one of the best things about this game. With all that said, I think the game is solid fun when it comes to the obstacles and situations it presents you. Just controlling Gunvolt is fun in itself, and his gimmicks make him stand apart from just being another Mega Man. Racking up combos and dashing through stages with accurate movement feels as good as it should be. I can say Inti hit a fine spot with the creation. So that's about it for now. We've covered pretty much all there is about gameplay, at least on the action side. Next, we're gonna see the systems behind the running and gunning, and take a better look at how our blue boy gets stronger and unlocks a bit of variety on his playstyle. Until then, if you haven't yet, you can check out the game yourself, and if you have your own opinions already, feel free to share them in the comments, not only about the game, but about the video itself too. We're just getting started with this, so there's a lot to learn, but I hope you had a good time here regardless. Take care, and until next time.